Hello guys, and welcome to a complete service guide for the 407 3-litre HDI. Now what we are doing today is we're going to be doing a oil filter and oil change, fuel filter and panel filter, as I already have a performance air filter installed. I'm going to put a link in the video comments below here so you can check out exactly where and how to change your air filter. So right in front of me, as you can see, I ordered this kit from MPH Automotive. It's the first time I've used these guys. As far as I'm aware, the owner has only recently started this brand and company up. And he specialises in basically getting you the correct fitted service items, parts and so forth for your vehicle as quickly as possible. So this kit cost me $82.99 originally, but I opted for a more superior OEM alike filter, which I'll show you. It's actually very nice, all Marl, and it actually came out to, in the end, basically £88, which for 7 litres of oil, all of my filters, I think is a very good price, and it's all been trialled and tested to make sure this is the correct setup for the car. That also includes a sump plug as well. There we are. So everything is as close to OEM specification as possible. There we have the blueprint cabin filter as well. So what I've done, guys, is I've been for a drive, got the car warmed up, and the first thing I'm going to do is the fuel filter. Now this is quite important because if you do this on a car which hasn't been run for a while, or that's in economy mode, it means that the fuel pump isn't going to pump when you start it. So ideally you want to go for a long drive, make sure that battery is nice and charged so you can change the filter, because you will have to switch the ignition on 3 or 4 times for around 30 seconds for the pump to pump the fluid back through into the pipe, so you don't have any air in the system. Because basically there's no manual pump for the 3-litre. Now the 2.7s I will show you in the engine bay in a little bit. I'll put up a photo now on the screen. On the 2.7, the fuel filter is actually in the engine bay, up on the top right. But on the 3-litre, it's relocating underneath. So you'll join me under the car, and we're going to get that done first. So guys, this is literally all you need to complete the job in hand. So 2 flatheads. These are to help you pry off the lower trim for the engine bay. They're also used to help you pry off the fuel filter housing to separate the bottom from the top. You will need a H4 Allen key head, and that is for the 4 screws on the filter housing itself. You also use this, I forgot to say, the flathead for getting off the power clip for the sensor on there as well. And then you will need a 32mm, and this is just literally for the oil filter holder. An extender if you need it to give you a bit of help, and in my instance a 24mm to get the sump plug off, but obviously for some people that might be different depending on what your sump plug is. And that is all I needed. Now obviously my engine tray was held on mostly by cable ties, so you'll have to assess the under tray when you get to it, but that'll be a mixture of clips you'd use your flathead for, and potentially 8 to 10mm socket, 8 to 10mm nuts, or the worst case you'll have a few torque bits, which would be like a T20 or a T25. But that is pretty much what you need to complete it without any extras. So there we are, there's where it's situated, right behind the fuel tank, right next to the rear subframe here. Obviously if you have a Citroen C5 or C6, you do have your hydraulic units here, which are a bit in the way, but yours will still sit here on the 3-litre, and there's basically going to be 4 Allen key heads underneath you've got to remove. And I'm also going to bleed any fuel that's in there out first before I drop this down to change the filter over. So make sure you unplug this plug here first. So the Allen key head that I used was obviously the one that I mentioned at the start, and we're going to use that Allen key to take out the 4, which are located either side. This is now loose. We've drained the fluid out, actually very little came out, and now we're going to get a flathead into here. Where is that? Let's pry that open and change the filter over. Quite a dirty filter. It does take a little bit of wiggling room. You want to sort of get a flathead up underneath the corner and extend it around so you've got the width in there. Then you want to get your hand on it and wiggle, 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 sort of left and right like this to get the top of that to drop down. So when they said that, oh yeah, not much fuel comes out, the whole cylinder is filled with fuel to the brim, so I've actually lost probably a fair amount there, 250 mil, 400 mil. And this is why I'm saying it's so important to have the car not in economy mode. So when we put this back on, put it back together, we can do 3 or 4 30-second cycles of the ignition, because it takes a lot of fuel to fill back up this reservoir to be able to start the engine properly. So I have removed the seal from around this oval, so there will be a seal in the box, so make sure you put your seal back around this fuel unit here. Then I'm going to remove the filter and put in the new one. Look at the state of that. There you go, guys, this is why we service regularly. Look at the state of that. Not the worst I've seen, but it's pretty dirty, I must admit. The car hasn't been giving me any problems, but that certainly isn't helping anything at all. So we're going to get that clean filter straight back in there now. So the filter itself is just a push-in clip, so you push it back in, it will hold itself in. Put the seal back on like I've done here, and then you can bolt it back on with the 4 bolts back up into there. All done. So we're going to keep the car lifted so we can make sure there's no leaks. So here we are. We're going to wait for 30 seconds and repeat that 3 or 4 times, then we should start without any misfiring and any problems. Alright guys, all done. Sweet as enough. Let's get on to the oil. So guys, hello and welcome to the underside of my DT20 3 litre bi-turbo, and I must say I'm pretty impressed with my findings. No oil leaks, no residue, nothing, which is pretty good. Nothing looking untoward down here at all, which is excellent. So the sump plug, you can see, is over there centrally mounted, and I'm going to work out what socket we need to remove that now. Although obviously bear in mind this can be different for every car because people use different sump plugs and aftermarket OEM sumps, etc, etc. So obviously bear that in mind. Now I did have my under tray, and mine was basically held in by cable ties, but the mounting points are up here, and then all on the front here where those holes are. Obviously this is on the other side, and then there are some along the centre beam here as well to remove the tray. Some of you won't have it, some of you will, but I've removed it, and we're now going to get working to take the sump plug off. On top of the engine now, we are going to pull the dipstick out to allow air through, and we're going to release the top of the oil filter. While they're loose, we're going to go and open up the sump and drop the oil. So now the oil filter is now loose, ready to be lifted, to be taken out and changed. The dipstick is now loose. I'm ready to use the 24mm socket to get this sump plug off to drain the oil. So once again, big up MPH Automotive for getting the sump plugs right as well. I know it seems really silly, but getting sump plugs for engines, especially like this, where they're not very common, not many of them were produced by Peugeot, it's really refreshing to actually have someone who supplied the correct washer and brand new sump plug to go on. So I've had to use a little biscuit tin because it was about to overfill my my little oil tray I've got. But yeah, we're done. The oil's drained, ready to get the sump plug back on very soon, tidy up, and then I'm going to get the under tray back on and finish up on the top. So the old filter is off, so it just unscrews and pops straight out to here, ready for the new one. Look at that. There we go guys, all nicely packed, ready for its new seal and to go back in. Alright then, so oil filter is back in, dipstick is back in, and we are now filled up with 6 litres. The engine itself takes 6.25, but obviously there'll be residue in the engine, so I'm going to put in 6, let it run, make sure there's no leaks from the sump plug, and then I'm going to go and drive it up to operating temperature for a little bit, bring it back tonight, park it somewhere level, and then just recheck in the morning to make sure that the oil is at a reasonable level on the dial. Apart from that now, all that's left is the cabin filter, so we're going to go to somewhere with some more space and go and do that once this is all warmed up and been driven. So there we are, all back and running. We're about to lose light now, so I'm going to continue on the video tomorrow and show you how to do the cabin filter. So guys, it is time for the dreaded panel filter. Now if you know anything about the panel filters in the 407 across the entirety of the range, that is that it is a pain in the ass. A lot of these don't tend to be done by owners or garages just because simply A, they just cannot be bothered, or B, some of them can't find it because it's in a bit of a weird spot. So quickly, I'm going to show you what to do. So down here you can already see I've used a T20 to take out the screw that sits up in there so I can pull this plastic trim out the way. So now the trim is removed, we have easy access. As you can see, I've already got part of a bird's nest up in here already, and the unit is literally just here. Just be prepared when you pull this unit back that around this area there is piping, laid out around here for the heating matrix, so it's best to do this when the car's completely cold, as this is not hot. Otherwise, if you do it when this has been round, you can, if you catch your hand a bit, you can burn it at a slight angle. But where we're looking is up in there. Dark and a bit of a pain in the ass. But up underneath here, there are some twisty mounts here. When you then twist these, you can just pull this cover out of the way. Look, these just literally just twist in like that. That's the other one. This is literally as awkward as it looks. It's not a fun job. So there we go. That is up there. I've also got more bird feed and crap in here, which is a bit odd. So that's that. Oh. There we go, look, I've got some bird's nest. I'm going to gently try and get out the car. I'm genuinely lying in the car at the worst possible, awful, uncomfortable angle, yeah, I've ever been. Everything's falling off me. It's a pain. So, there. Right, now we're going to try and get into the filter. Okay guys, so there should be, I'm saying should because it appears mine doesn't have them. God, so there should be 2 Torx bits, one on the bottom here and one up above on the opposite side, but mine appears to not have it. So I'm going to try and get to this. There's lots of bird matter coming out of there. So there we go, look. As you can see, mine hasn't got any, but there are 2 screws. There's actually a top, like, slide-in clip and a plastic clip on the side, which would hold it in place anyway, so you could put them back in if you want to, but it is one hell of a fiddle, so that's not out. I can now pull this towards me. Now, obviously, be prepared, in most circumstances, when you pull this out, yeah, you're going to get half a bush come out with it. Mine's not too bad, actually. I've seen worse. It's actually quite clean, to be fair, this one. That's why I suggest tubing your car afterwards, not before. So when you're putting this in, there are airflow marker tabs on the filter. So you're going to put the air flow arrows facing towards the car, not away. So before I put the new one in, I'm going to clean out the excess mess. So here we are, guys. Getting it back in is quite a fiddle, I must admit. So, well, it's not quite a fiddle. Fucking is a fiddle, really. It's a bloody pain in the ass because basically, you've got to get it up in there, but it doesn't. It doesn't really go in like that. You have to sort of push the, without damaging it too much, obviously. You have to sort of push the back, like deliberately, like squeeze it in like that. It's really not good, guys. It's really not ideal. There might be a more efficient way of doing it, I must admit. Well, I mean, I'll skip this bit out, but you can work that out for yourself. It's a pain in the ass. I'm gonna have to work out how the flipping hell I'm gonna get it in there because it's such a stupid place. It really is. So, guys, what I found was squeeze it up at an angle like this. Keep feeding the bottom into the holder, and it'll get to a point, look, where the filter will realign itself, give it a shake, move it around so it can straighten itself back out, and then gently push. I say gently, it's a bloody pain in the ass. Pushing from top and bottom. Fucking thing. Such a shit. Sorry about the not so delightful view of me. Yeah. So it's finally in. I can get the cover back on, put the trim back in place, and hoover my car. And that, thankfully, is the end of my partial, but most important service on my 407 Coupe.